LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing, co-hosts Brian Schmidt, PJ Noodleman, and producer Dangerous Dan Margetta. Call the show anytime at 414-421-7901. And now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
If you thought for 1 minute this was going to be a boring off season, April Fools. December 1st isn't even here yet, and the shit's hitting the fan already. It's wonderful. Hello there, everyone. Todd Bailing in rainy, cool Phoenix, Arizona, where the temperature is not much unlike the beautiful state of Wisconsin, where my three co-hosts are all standing by to be on the program, starting with Oostburg, Wisconsin's own Brian Schmidt. Hi, Brian.
Good morning. Yeah, sunny out. It's nice here. It's not too bad.
You sound really good. I should just mention it. And, of course, PJ over on the other side of the state, PJ Noodleman on our left coast. Hi, PJ.
Good morning. 42 and sunshine in Trempealeau, Wisconsin.
It's the sunshine that makes all the difference in the world. Screaming back across the state to beautiful St. Francis, Wisconsin, our producer and longtime cohort, Dan Margetta. Hi, Dan.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, it is quite the off season. Hey, it's just started. We're not even getting into this whole trial thing, and already it's the stuff that's coming out is making you like, wow.
Where do we begin? First of all, there's just too many damn Steves over there. There's Phelps and O'Donnell. And of all the stuff that got released this week, I'm not sure how or why this stuff is being released in advance. But, geez. For instance, one of them, I think it might have been O'Donnell, called Richard Childress a redneck.
That was Phelps.
Idiot. Oh, that was Phelps. PJ, Phelps, how would we discern between these Steves who, if either one of them is employed by the time this trial is over, I will be surprised. How do we discern who is whom?
Well, Steve Phelps is the president of NASCAR, and I think Steve O'Donnell is like the CFO or the CEO or something like that. So they just have titles, but that also gives them the pleasure of making decisions and such.
Which one is the guy from the
Phelps.
state of the sport? Okay.
He's
Goes to show why he was so nervous.
Brian is talking about the state of the sport speech that Phelps did in Phoenix with the media, and with all the looming crap that he's got to deal with now, much of it self-inflicted, especially if you read some of this crap, that he didn't know how to answer questions without just absolutely tripping over his own tongue with all the and that he was doing. At the very least, talking about Richard Childress. Dan, there's a reason he called Richard Childress a redneck idiot. What the hell was it?
I think at the time they were upset when that came out that Childress had gone on a Sirius radio show, I think, and it made some comments about the negotiations and how they were going. I think one of the comments they asked is, will this, new deal be beneficial? And his response was, yeah, well, for who? And what wasn't he like? Wasn't there some time where the NASCAR was kind of like the KGB kind of thing? It was. I mean, it was not a very good time negotiation wise, and he went on a radio show, and I think that probably what kind of drove that conversation there. And you got to understand too that happens all the time. I mean, there are lots of text messages between people where they say stuff that they don't think anybody's going to see it. And I'm sure the teams have a lot of text messages going the back way with NASCAR too. It's just that when you get in a court case like this and discovery comes out, it's all out there. I mean, it's all out there and it's public. Whether it makes it to the court case or not, who knows? But everybody's got access to it. And of course, it's going to go out there and everybody's going to, look at what we found, look at what we see, look at all this. And it kind of gives you an idea how contentious those negotiations were at the time.
And the deadline for the release was just, I think, yesterday, or maybe it was Friday. And that's why all of this stuff is coming out now. And that's kind of a strategy, too, for some of the teams, if you will, in a legal case, is to wait until the last minute and then just dump a bunch of the crap that you have to release so that it's so much it's hard for everybody to get through it all. But apparently it didn't take long to find some salacious things to release it.
Oh, I just never thought that NASCAR even thought that SRX was a pimple on their ass. I didn't think it was anything they would worry about because they're racing on little short tracks where the most people you can put in is, a couple of thousand but oh my God, they were really pissed off about SRX. We want to put a knife in them. Part of it was they were getting better television ratings than the Xfinity or Truck Series. And if you didn't think that bothered NASCAR, OMFG, did it ever.
They're almost acting like a jealous boyfriend or girlfriend. And then it's like, if we can't have the fans, then neither can you. It's kind of sick, actually.
That just goes to show how important the TV ratings are versus fans in the stands. That bothers them that much. You got 100,000. Most of your facilities, back in the day held at least 100,000 people, if not more. And you're worried about these tracks that hold 5, 6, maybe 12,000 people, and that bothered you that much. That goes to show why the TV ratings are everything to them, and it doesn't. And we see the things that they do at the track.
And the reason for that, though, is because they keep trying to be NFL. If they quit trying to be the NFL and quit trying to eat the donut, not the whole. That's what my father-in-law always used to say.
The live gate is the icing on the cake. It's just pure profit for the tracks because it means, they're going to get something ridiculous for beers and hot dogs and all of that.
That's money in the bank when you get seats in the seats.
Think how SRX kind of came about, though. Jim France runs NASCAR right now. He actually is a big part of IMSA, too. Does he run IMSA completely, Brian, or
He's one of the main guys there, but there's a different guy that's the head of it.
And if you look at IMSA, drivers don't mean much there. They really don't. It's all about the manufacturers. It's all about the cars. Can you tell me? I can't even tell you who drives the Wayland car right now.
Right.
Aren't that big. And that was kind of going that way NASCAR-wise with the Cup guys. They were kind of trying to steer it that way. And I think a lot of those guys, like drivers like Tony Stewart and guys that had retired suddenly were like, star power matters, guys, and they weren't thinking about it. So that's what SRX was. That was kind of there to send a message to them. It says, we take, 12 guys, star drivers and put them on little tracks and get a TV deal. We can make a dent in this. Look what we can do. And it showed them what they could do. The business model of SRX was never sustainable. It was never going to last a long time, but it got the message.
That's it exactly. And then they would have active NASCAR drivers come over there and race too. Like Logano raced over in that series, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kenny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and a lot of those guys went and did it because it was fun. And that's they kind of racing. We got into racing because it was fun, and they kind of were forgetting about that sometimes. And then SRX kind of brought that back. When they got the message, though, instead of looking, self-reflecting and saying, boy, maybe we should work together with these guys and figure out how this all works. Maybe we can make something work. They kind of doubled down and went against it. And now it kind of led where we're today. Now we're in court.
And this is where foolish pride gets us.
And that seems to be NASCAR's thing. As far as working with, they don't want that. Either they're going to purchase your operation like they did with the, with the ARCO series back in the day, like they did with ARCA now. They either purchase it or the hell with you. It seems to always be their MO. And that's not how racing works, because in the short tracks, for the most part, at least definitely on the dirt, the series try to work together, and it makes for a better product overall.
Don't you think that, like, for instance, NASCAR tried to make legitimate sounding cautions. Oh, there's debris, even though everybody in the house knew it was a bunch of bullshit. But they would say this, and then you were supposed to believe it. And the thing about SRX, they would come right out and say, matter of fact, not only did they have competition cautions, but they had, I have to remember this, when Luke Fenhouse was kicking everybody's ass at Slinger, and they came on the radio and told him to slow down and wait for Tony Stewart to catch up. And remember all those laps side by side, how spectacular. It was spectacular, But Luke could have lapped the field, and they didn't want that. So because he had to slow down and wait and fart around, here comes Marco Andretti of all people to go and win at Slinger Speedway. It was contrived. It was absolutely manufactured. Everybody in the house pretty much knew it anyway. Did it matter? Didn't seem to bother the TV ratings. The live gate was never affected much. They wanted to see Tony Stewart race and all these guys that supposedly retired and actually had all his star power yet. Who wouldn't want to go see Chase Elliott battle against his dad at Nashville? I mean, that was the show right there. Everybody else was on that track just to fill it up and make a story out of it. But all those people filled that place up so they could watch the battle of the generational Elliots. And it worked. All right, we're running just a little over. We've got some more things to talk about with this crazy lawsuit. And it hasn't even started in court yet. We'll be right back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Hey, Matthew, give me a hand with this tree.
Dad, let's get a real tree this year.
Hey, leave that fake tree in the box under the basement steps this year. Get a real tree from PMF Landscape on River Road in West Bend. Any kind of real tree imaginable, up to 18 feet. A huge assortment of Christmas decorations, including wreaths in 3 sizes, cemetery wreaths, festive global hanging ornaments, bows, garland roping, and more. Stop in 7 days a week during the holiday season, have refreshments, and check everything out. How about a PMF gift certificate? The perfect gift. PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 South River Road in West Bend. Call them 262-338-8800.
Dad, our tree from PMF Landscape looks great.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
Well, one thing I really like about watching Facebook out of the corner of my eye here is that people correct me when I make a mistake. And it turns out, according to Jerry, that Logano never raced. I thought he did. He announced a race, but he didn't race. Didn't he race up in, what the hell is the name of that track in Connecticut?
Stafford.
I thought he raced. Maybe not.
Yeah. I can't remember.
There were a handful of Cup drivers that came over, and I couldn't remember what they all are. When was that, Dan? 21, 22?
Correct. Yes.
They lasted, 2 years, and their third year was when they went under?
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to remember, too, like Aaron points out to us, too, that the information is released this week because this was all was deemed to be too inflammatory. It won't be part of the case, but it was because they kind of weeded out all the drama out of the case, and this is what it is. But it's public record, and it was there, so that's why this all came out. But it just kind of gives you an insight of what things were like and why we were racing week to week and doing press conferences together and stuff. Behind closed doors, they were really pretty far apart.
One of the things that came out, and I don't really understand the logic behind this, they were talking about cutting back to 32 charters. How were they going to take 4 charters away from somebody who these things are worth upwards of $50 million each? How would you have done that? Does anybody know that?
I don't know.
Not
That was
really,
one of the options that it was put out there in this whole thing. That was an option that, they're talking about. They wanted more money. Well, if we decrease the number of charters, and that splits up more money per charter for teams. Now you'd probably have to go. Stewart Haas was gone, right? There was 3 there. So
and then just
another one
as they disappear, just don't replace them or don't allow them to be sold. interesting. And by now you've heard that they called Richard Childress need to be taken out back and flogged. He wouldn't be anywhere if he didn't have racing, and he's just a redneck idiot. And how is this guy? How are they going to face each other? Although you get the feeling Childress knew about this a long time ago.
Well, allegedly he did. Allegedly, Phelps told Childress ahead of time that there's going to be some inflammatory stuff coming out. Just know I said it in the heat of the moment, and I was very frustrated, as if that's an excuse. It's like, those are the times when the truth actually bubbles to the top.
And I understand if we get to Daytona when you have the guy next to you hold your watch and you see me.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, here's a good one. What's the name of that driver's council? I can't remember.
I mean,
Anyone?
the race team alliance was out there.
That's it. Maybe that's it. Apparently, they had talked about taking all the Cup drivers to Churchill Downs in Louisville and putting on a dirt race.
What? Come on now.
There's a lot of things thrown out there. I mean, look at all the crazy stuff that actually did happen. You know, we built a racetrack at the Coliseum. We raced the streets of Chicago. I mean, that was some things that were out there. They could go and do other deals. They talked about going to Oman, which is over in the Middle East, and bringing all the cars over there if you had some oil sheik that was willing to pay for it. You know, it was out there. And then amazing to me is how involved in all this that Justin Marks is. Hey, I mean, he's the guy from Trackhouse. I mean, he's got a lot of crazy ideas, but you know, some of them come to fruition.
And he's got a lot of money behind it too, which, you know, makes all the difference in the world. So
I wanted to quick add, according to, because I thought I'd saw this, Matt Weaver had posted that yesterday, well, actually it would have been Friday. Friday was the unsealing deadline for summary judgment material that could be used at trial.
Oh.
So it could be used at trial.
So a jury is going to hear the president of NASCAR call Richard Childress a redneck idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that's just great. How in the hell are they going to find in North Carolina,
right,
a jury that's, well, it'll probably be, I don't know. Now that I'm thinking, no, it can't possibly be. It has a bigger women audience than it ever had. It has a bigger minority audience than it ever had. You're not going to find people that don't follow NASCAR in North Carolina, or, you know.
You might find enough that don't know anything about this stuff, though, that aren't into the weeds of it. And if they don't really know, they just know there's a lawsuit between the two of them, but don't know all the nuts and bolts. Because I don't think there's a lot of mainstream media that's really talking about it. So.
But you don't have to be a NASCAR fan to recognize somebody's being an asshole.
Oh, right.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where we're at. Another one that came out, and I don't really know why this would be a thing. 2311 and Front Row Motorsports, the two who are holding NASCAR's finger to the flame here, talked about a merger 4 years ago. Why would that be important? Anyone? I'm not sure.
The way to expand the teams is then get more charters that you merge together. I mean, Front Row was kind of out there in a lot of things. I mean, they were always kind of the fringe Ford team, really, and then lately they kind of got a little better when they started getting some more help. But for a while they were out there. I mean, there was talk about them going to Toyota and maybe merging with somebody. Even the whole Blue Oval thing years ago at Ford, that was behind them as well in that deal. They seem to have a lot of flexibility to do things there, and one of it was to, you know, maybe talk with Jordan and look like the merger there would give Front Row owners like 20% of one of the charters or something like that when they all merged, and have some kind of, you know, saying things. The agreement was all laid out there. It never came to happen. But I think at the time they were looking to survive too, and maybe merging with Jordan would have been a way to do it.
It seems, though, if you stayed separate, you could buy up to 8 charters, right? And that way you would only be able to have 4 charters. And they were chartered up. Well, maybe not in 21, though, were they? That probably.
What kind of money was behind Front Row? I mean, at the time, I mean, they didn't have Jordan money behind them, you know, and their sponsorship wasn't spectacular. I mean, it was,
True.
You know, they weren't one of the powerhouse teams, really.
Lots to it for sure. If you would like to call this program and weigh in with all the shit that has hit the fan here as we're getting ready to go to court, you can do so at 414 421-7901. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to sneak away for a break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company in the heart of Wisconsin is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
There are a couple of things going on we thought we'd mention since we're doing newsy items here. Why is it a thing that Joey Logano got a haircut? He has something called alopecia. What the hell is that? Baldness?
It's basically where you start to lose your hair. Women get it too. It's just you have these really bad bald spots. And I think he just decided to embrace it and go bald. By shaving it all off because it's too much to try to keep up. You know, yeah, you can do hair plugs.
I thought he did that. It was an expensive deal, and he did it.
It's not a one and done. You have to.
It's not.
No, you got to keep maintaining that stuff, and that gets to be pretty expensive. It's like women who do all of the fancy hair coloring. You're probably going to end up having a hefty bill every 3 months to keep it looking right.
I had no idea. I thought once you get plugs, they stay there. I didn't know plugs fell out, for crying out loud. All right, well, this is the new look. And if you haven't seen it yet, it's, I don't know, he looks like...
he looks sophisticated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He grew some hair on his chin to make up the difference. You know, he looks like Two and a Half Men, Charlie's younger brother, Alan. That's what he kind of looks like there. I don't know, maybe it's just me.
I think it looks good.
All right. And this week... I can't believe that this was actually a story, but because the ICE raids are a big deal right now, that's in immigration enforcement, and you know, this, you've seen it in the paper as these people are throwing illegal alien criminals out of the country, and it's somehow there are people that think this is a bad idea. Therefore, when we find out that Rick Hendrick Chevrolet of Charlotte, North Carolina, sold 25 Suburbans to ICE, it's a news story. Why would that be a news story? 25 Suburbans for $2.25 million, and they actually made a deal about it. I don't know why, but they kept saying it came from Hendrick Motorsports. Maybe that's what the story is. Did they beef up the engines or something? I don't think so.
No, it's
probably news media that doesn't know what's going on. You know,
they're trying to get everybody in trouble.
Yeah, they tied Hendrick Motorsports to Hendrick. I mean, Hendrick's got dealerships all over the place. Sure. So it's just people that don't know how. You know, these news people sit in those newsrooms and I think I got a story. Well, it's really not, because he's just a dealer like everybody else. Like we have Van Horn up here. You know, and they have all sorts of stuff going on. It's like
It's a nothing burger is what it
Yes.
is. But they were hoping that people would get all riled up and boycott because of it. But I don't think they realized that the NASCAR community is like,
Besides
cool.
racing, Hendrick does stuff like that. They do supply vehicles and have a separate division that does that. A lot of guys that retire from the race side go work there for a regular job.
Yeah.
That's what's on the side of Kyle Larson's car, HendrickCars.com. That is a real thing. They do sell a lot of vehicles.
Also, I think that they install wraps on those vehicles. Of course, I think they all were just black, weren't they? You
Most
don't want
of them
to
are, yeah.
have everything say, "Welcome to the neighborhood. Here comes ice." I don't think that says it on there. Either way, kind of strange. Front Row Motorsports. Johnny Rotten died. Now, to me, without being real up on everybody that works for every single NASCAR team, when I hear Johnny Rotten died, I think he's some kind of punk ass band member from the 90s or something. That's not true. Front Row Motorsports director of performance, his name was Johnny Rotten, believe it or not, and he passed away this week. So rest in peace, sir. And if I'd known that Johnny Rotten worked for Front Row, I probably would have had some fun with it over the years. One leaves us and one joins us. Ryan Blaney and his wife Gianna had a little boy this week. Well, she had a lot more to do with it than he did, actually. Charlie Bennett Blaney. The kid's name is Charlie?
I like that.
Yeah, that's what he's
So the question is that kid going to be a dirt racer or is that kid going to be an asphalt racer?
I'm going with both.
I'm going with both.
You going to be like Grandpa and run wing sprint cars, or going to be like Dad and never really run on the dirt?
The start will start on dirt.
Both. He's
Yeah,
going to
there
do
you go.
both because Ryan knows that you got to be almost like ambidextrous when it comes to racing.
Mhm. Now, assuming that after the court date that there's still such a thing as NASCAR and that they're actually going to be going to Daytona, that there's the Trackhouse Racing, as you'll remember, had an experimental deal where they ran a car that was unchartered and they had SVG. That's where they brought up SVG, and that's where we learned who he was, and that's how he got himself a full-time gig in NASCAR. And well, they've decided to bring Project 91 back next year. And what is important about that is that Red Bull has a lot to do with it. And the hope is, and the rumor is, that Max Verstappen is going to get a tryout, get a ride, a one race deal, at least a one race deal to race in NASCAR, which I think would be really cool. Matter of fact,
You can put that together, but I mean that's kind of so far out there right now, and there's so many things that has to get in to have that happen. That car, besides SVG that drove it, remember Kimi Räikkönen drove for Project 91.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the car that Helio Castroneves?
Helio, yep, he drove that. Yep.
So, I mean,
different open
Helio's ride wasn't that big of a lot behind it. I mean, I don't know how much was. It wasn't the greatest car, obviously, and he didn't do so well in it. But,
until they got to Chicago.
yeah, but that car only ran at Daytona last year, and that was it for Helio. I don't think 91 came all year long, did it? So, I mean, if Red Bull puts money behind it and they're serious about it, and if you do put something together to get the guy like Verstappen in there, you better have a good effort behind it to make him look good, because he's not going to do it if he looks bad.
Right, exactly. By the way, I think I won a bet against somebody there, didn't I? A cash bet?
Yeah.
I forget. Nobody ever paid me anything. Of course, I'm not sure I would get it either way. Let's see. Here's another thing. We found out a way to bring the name Dale Earnhardt back into racing again. Some guy named Bobby Dale Earnhardt, who just turns out to be Carrie's oldest kid. He's Jeffrey's older brother. He got himself a full-time ARCA ride in the well-known Rise Motorsports car. Brian or Dan, what do we know about Rise Motorsports?
Yeah, it's not the greatest operation out there. It's one of those ARCA teams. You have your handful of really good ARCA teams, and then you have the ones that are not so much, and that's one of the not so much ARCA teams.
Okay, so don't look for much.
No.
Bobby Dale.
Bobby Dale's been around for a while and done some races. Hasn't really done a whole lot. We'll see.
Having that name there, just so nice, isn't it? As we get ready to go to a break, a little programming note. We're going to come back with results a little early today because Brian was able to get Corey Heim for the program, and he'll be on in the segment after the results. If everything goes right, we'll come back with that stuff when we return.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
Hey, Matthew, give me a hand with this tree.
Dad, let's get a real tree this year.
Hey, leave that fake tree in the box under the basement steps this year. Get a real tree from PMF Landscape on River Road in West Bend. Any kind of real tree imaginable, up to 18 feet. A huge assortment of Christmas decorations, including wreaths in 3 sizes, cemetery wreaths, festive global hanging ornaments, bows, garland roping, and more. Stop in 7 days a week during the holiday season, have refreshments, and check everything out. How about a PMF gift certificate? The perfect gift. PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 South River Road in West Bend. Call them 262-338-8800.
Dad, our tree from PMF Landscape looks great.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Pretty quiet week of dirt track racing across the country here. Only a handful of events to speak of. We'll start Friday night in Magnolia, Mississippi, the Pike County Speedway for the Jambalaya 100. Night number 1, 3,000 to win for the super late models. Clayton Stuckey was the feature winner there. The USAC Midgets continue their West Coast swing, which wraps up with the Turkey Night Grand Prix next week. They were in Merced, California Friday night. And Kenan McIntosh was your feature winner there. They were supposed to have a race or two during the week, but the weather in California, it's been raining a lot and washed out those events. Last night, Barberville, Florida, Volusia Speedway Park, the Dale and Emil Rudeman Memorial. That would be David Rudeman's grandparents, I believe. Big UMP modified showcase there. Drake Troutman won the big event last night. Magnolia, Mississippi, night number 2 at Pike County Speedway for the Jambalaya 100. $7,000 to win for the super late models. Spencer Hughes grabbed the win. Night number 2 in Merced, California for the USAC National Midgets. Logan Seavey grabbed that feature win, and Corey Day won the 360 sprints. And that is all of the results so far. One newsworthy note, it was released this week that in 2 weeks they have the big Gateway Dirt Nationals at the Dome down in St. Louis. As of now, there are 38,000 tickets sold for that event. Did we ever think there would be a dirt race that would sell that many tickets?
Especially at the Dome. After what we went through in Indianapolis years ago.
No kidding, right?
To make that work, that's good for them. And do you see the people that had, if you had your reservation at the Holiday Inn, you better go check again. Apparently that hotel got sold and all the reservations got canceled and you got to rebook. And
oh my God. Hey, what's the date on that Dome race?
That's the exact same time as the Snowball Derby. That would be 2 weeks from now. So you're looking at December the 5th, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yeah.
Yep, 5th, 4th, 5th, and 6th. But the best part about it is, and I'm glad to report this, that, yeah, you have all those tickets being sold, but the purses increased as well because it's $70,000 to win the super late model featured on Saturday night there.
Oh my God.
So it's not something that they're just putting in their pocket. They're actually, turning around and giving it back to the racers, which has got to be applauded. And an event that I thought was going to be a farce. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's turned into one of the supreme off-season events.
No kidding.
So
Supreme. I like that word.
yeah. That's it for me. That's all I got.
All right. I got very little, too. We had the South Carolina 400 last night at Florence Motor Speedway. Your winner was Caden Quapple. His brother Carson was second.
Oh,
so it was a
God, the
Quapple
Quapple.
1-2 punch. Good night for
It's all
Dad.
because he was on the show with us last week, right?
That had to be it.
And then just FYI, Keelan Harvick was in that race too. He finished 5th, so not bad for a little sprightly little boy.
Couple things.
Yes.
Kenny Schrader raced at Volusia, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, Brian. I knew he.
Yeah, I
was,
didn't see where he finished though.
I think he had a problem early in the going, which happens once in a while. Now, PJ and I, by the time we do this show next week, will have been at the Freedom Factory this coming Saturday night, which is in Bradenton, Florida. And they're going to have the Billy Bigley Memorial Race. It's turned into quite the event, hasn't it, PJ?
30,000 to win, 1,200 just to start. It is only a 4-tire race. Last year we had an all Wisconsin podium, and we've got a lot of Wisconsinites heading down this year.
It's a 128 lapper, I think, isn't it? Bigley himself was number 28. That's where that came from.
That is correct.
All right, and so that will be good. Now, Brian, when Brian mentioned, I asked the dates for that dome thing. Part of the lure, part of the attraction of that thing is because Kenny Wallace races at that's his home. I mean, he lives in the Fenton, Missouri, isn't very far away from there. I think it's a suburb. And I don't think he lives there anymore. He does live somewhere close by. And so he's going to race his modified. They're going to have all kinds of divisions, right?
No, he's not running his modified in the dome. No.
You're kidding.
Nope. He passed on that. I don't even know if he did it last year. But because he's not racing in it, he's going to open up his shop on, I believe, Thursday and Friday for fans to come and take a tour, and he'll have memorabilia for sale and all that stuff. But no, I have not seen him say he's in it, and I believe he's not running in that race.
Okay. Well, here's something to consider. That's the weekend of the 5th and 6th, I think, right? On the 7th, the Kenny Wallace Fan Club cruise leaves from Miami for 7 days, and I'll be on the cruise, and it'll be big fun, I'm sure. So maybe that's why he's not right now. He could race Friday or Saturday and then make it there.
Oh, no, he'd never get his stuff out of there in time, and he doesn't have a big crew. So, yeah, he's definitely not running in that race then.
Okay.
But he talked about Thursday and Friday having a shop open for fans that are in the area.
Okay.
And you're going to miss the Snowball Derby then, Todd, because that is Sunday, December 7th.
Yes, it is, the 7th. And this cruise leaves on the 7th and comes back on the 14th, which for me anyway, I won't be able to do radio those 2 Sundays, but I should have some pretty good stories involving Kenny Wallace, because we'll be going they canceled our trip to Jamaica because that hurricane just went through and wiped that place flat. And then they canceled our trip to Haiti because somebody finally opened their eyes and said, Haiti? Isn't that what Trump called one of those shithole countries? Yes, it is. And I think that there's enough civil unrest there where the cruise line, what's the cruise line? I forgot, is not going to go to the port in Haiti.
Discretion is the better part of valor, as you would say.
I guess. And they added that little island off of Mexico, which I've been to a couple times, and I could.
Epstein Island?
No. No, that'd be a place to write some stories about. So we're gone 7 days, and I think we only have 3 cruise stops. That doesn't matter. It's going to be a good old time with all the Kenny Wallace fans, and I'll be able to report on it firsthand. That'll be good stuff. Let's do this break now.
Oh, wait. Let's do the Midwest Tour schedule got released this week.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
About 11 races. They added one. It's going to be at Slinger again. It'll open up on the 26th of April. Super late models plus the 75-lap late model feature and the debut of the Crown Vic Series. That's a big way to kick that season off there. Basically, the Midwest Tour schedule is pretty much the same, adding Slinger for the opener, and they flip-flopped Elko and Grundy, right, Brian?
Yep, and Norway is a lot earlier, too. Norway is like the first weekend in June instead of right before the 4th of July. I think last year it was really, really hot up in Norway, so probably be better this year. Yeah.
And since we're sneaking in some things Wisconsin related here, the Dodge program for Colleague in the Truck Series, you may have heard, is going to have a it's been rumored so far. There's been nothing official about it, but they're going to have a gong show type of thing going to happen, and that's going to provide a driver for a weekly. For what all we know, it's a different driver every week for a 25-week schedule. I'm not sure. They're talking about bringing Tony Stewart into race once in a while, especially now that he's in bed with Dodge, for his drag racing deal. But they are going to do a press release tomorrow talking about the Gong Show. I don't know what the hell they're going to call it. And then a week from tomorrow, they will announce the drivers who will be participating in the contest. And we know of a Wisconsin driver who will be in it. We've been sworn to secrecy about who it is, but it'll be a name everybody knows, and you'll see that that will be announced a week from tomorrow. Okay, so we'll sneak away now, and hopefully when we come back, we're going to have Corey Heim on the phone. Stand by.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Hey, Matthew, give me a hand with this tree.
Dad, let's get a real tree this year.
Hey, leave that fake tree in the box under the basement steps this year. Get a real tree from PMF Landscape on River Road in West Bend. Any kind of real tree imaginable, up to 18 feet. A huge assortment of Christmas decorations, including wreaths in 3 sizes, cemetery wreaths, festive global hanging ornaments, bows, garland roping, and more. Stop in 7 days a week during the holiday season, have refreshments, and check everything out. How about a PMF gift certificate? The perfect gift. PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 South River Road in West Bend. Call them 262-338-8800.
Dad, our tree from PMF Landscape looks great.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
Oh, this is perfect music right now because we are going to, for the first time, we have this year's Craftsman Truck Series champion, Corey Heim, visiting with us from his home. Corey, welcome to Let's Talk NASCAR. It's the first time we've had you, and we're pretty thrilled to have you.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah, I appreciate it.
This has been an absolutely kick-ass season. 11 wins for that number 11.
12 wins.
12? I thought it was 11.
He won
Okay.
Phoenix.
Yeah, let's not forget that championship race where you took it 7 wide. I mean, it wasn't a spectacular enough season until you had to go 7 wide to win a championship, but you did it. And if they didn't know your name before, they certainly do now.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, it was definitely, as you mentioned, a really good season for us. And to cap it off with kind of an exciting finish like that for the fans was really cool. I had a lot of people talking about it for days or weeks after the race, so that was way cooler than if we were to just go out and kind of lead every lap, I guess. So, as you mentioned, we had a really good year. We were sort of up and down to start the season up until probably, a couple races before the playoffs. We, had our luck kind of go our way towards the end of the year, and seemed like, in the beginning of the year, we really couldn't catch a break, and then at the end of the year, we started catching breaks. So that's kind of how racing goes sometimes. We definitely caught that break at the right time during the season, and obviously able to cap it off with the championship. So just really thankful for kind of everyone that's been a part of it, and it's definitely a season we'll remember for a long time personally, for sure.
I mean, just talk about that Tricon group that you have there. I mean, you've been there a couple years. you guys really got going. Last year had a really good season, but to come out of the box this year, I mean, you had 12 wins, but let's be honest, you could have had 15, 16 wins because there were a lot of races early in the year. You were dominating it, and bad luck happened. I mean, just talk about Gilliland and that group that he's put together over there, and how special that group is.
Yeah, I mean, I knew they were special from the beginning. We started in 2023. That was my first full-time season as a driver, and also my first, season working with Scott Zipadelli and the 11 team as a whole. So, we had a little bit of growing to do as a team, but I think, all the pieces were in place from the very beginning. It was just a matter of, growing as a team and learning each other, our feedback and our adjustments and everything that kind of worked for us individually. And the fact that we were able to retain that team and keep everyone in place for 3 years in a row, leading up to 2025, I think we all knew what we were capable of coming off of, good seasons objectively from 2024 winning 6 and then 23 winning 3. I knew we were capable of at least matching that, if not doing better. So the fact that we were able to kind of put all the puzzle pieces together and make it a 12-win season, I don't think it was a surprise to at least us, but the fact that we were able to keep everyone in place and knowing that we already had a good team, we knew we were capable of doing that from the very beginning. So, definitely a lot of really special people that, came from different teams at first, but for the last 3 years have all been together with us at Tricon. A lot of good people involved for sure from top to bottom.
You have a guy out of your team that is from Wisconsin, Adam Wilcox. Is he your gas man for the truck?
No, he's our mechanic.
Okay, mechanic. I know he's super proud to be a part of that, and I'm friends with him, so I get to watch all the stuff that he posts. You're still going to be dabbling in the truck series a little bit yet in 2026, but you're also obviously doing some Cup and some Xfinity series things. Do you look at that as a good challenge, or is it a little frustrating for you to not be able to have a full-time one thing to just really stay focused on in 2026?
I don't really find myself getting frustrated, with my opportunities. I think, of course, this year I was able to run for a championship in the truck series, and I'm not sure kind of where my stuff lies next year. But regardless of whatever, presented, I think I'm going to be with really good organizations and have chances to win races. And, as a driver at the end of the day, that's really all you can ask for. So I'm kind of a week-by-week guy. I look at it as, what is the job this weekend? What do we need to do? And, I kind of think to myself, what that is, and then I go get it done. So I never really project, what my opportunities are. It's just, it's life at the end of the day. Whatever you're presented, you have to, take it and do the best you can with it. So that's kind of always been my mindset, and I certainly want to keep that going.
And do you know who your crew chiefs are going to be with 2311 and with Spire? That way you can try to develop the relationship kind of like what you have with Zipadelli?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what my crew chief situation is at the moment. I'm kind of still waiting to figure that all out at the end of the day. But regardless of who that is, I'm looking forward to trying to get that same bond. It's definitely not easy to come by. So anytime you work with a crew chief, you definitely want to, make that relationship stable and work both ways. And I think, that's what I've been able to do with Scott, these last 3 years. And I hope to do the same going forward as well.
And Corey, you're 23, so you're still relatively really young, and to have a season like that is pretty spectacular, and you got a great future ahead of you. A lot of people don't really know how you got into the whole racing deal. Did one of your family members race it, how you started doing that, and you kind of worked up the ladder, right? It was like Legends, Super Lates, Late Model Stock, ARCA. You kind of went that route. Is that how it all worked?
Yeah, you could say I had a pretty typical NASCAR route, if you will. I mean, I know Logano kind of did the same thing, and Elliott and some of those guys. They started in quarter midgets like I did, and then, worked up through Bandoleros, Legends cars, late models. That was sort of my route. Sprinkled in a little bit of different things here and there, but for the most part, I raced quarter midgets for a long time. Actually, I started when I was 5 years old, and then I think I went to Bandoleros around 12 or 13, which is objectively pretty long for, a NASCAR, I guess, upcoming, if you will. But, I wouldn't call myself a second generation racer by any means, but my dad did race as a hobby. I grew up going to Lanier in Georgia, watching him race Legends cars. And then I knew my dad would kind of want me to go that same path eventually. He thought the Legends cars were very good as a learning tool and whatnot. So once I was, I want to say 13 or 14, I got in a Legends car for my first time, and I feel like that's really where I learned how to were like how to race in a sense. Like quarter midgets were great for growing up and kind of learning the ins and outs of how to race, those, but it's very conceptually simple. I feel like Legends cars is where I really started to blossom and really learn, racecraft and different techniques and whatnot, shifting, of course, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like I got a pretty normal upbringing as far as NASCAR stuff.
You haven't raced a whole lot up in Wisconsin, but you did make a couple stops up here. You got to run at Slinger with your super late model a few years back for the Slinger Nationals and the Milwaukee Mile up here. What were your experiences like when you're up here running at these tracks?
Yeah, it's definitely a different world. I feel like it was interesting to me to go to Slinger for the first time. That was one of the most unique late model experiences I've personally had, actually. Like, you show up to the racetrack, and a lot of times when you go to the Snowball Derby or you go to the Snowball Derby or you go to any sort of southeastern race or anything like that, I feel like for the most part, you kind of know what you're up against, and you kind of know the names and you know the faces, you know who's got the nice stuff and who doesn't. But when you go to Slinger, like you're racing around guys I've personally never heard of because they just sort of stay in that area. To be honest, like their stuff doesn't look all that nice, but they haul ass for the most part. It's pretty interesting to see those guys and what they make work up there and how different the rules are, the late models and stuff, and then really just everything. It's very fascinating to me to race against those guys. It's a totally different culture. So, and then not to mention that Slinger is a very, very challenging racetrack in itself as well. Just you really never get a break. You're always in the turn and on the gas, so it's definitely a fun place.
Any chance we'll see you back up here again?
Good question.
One more time.
Any chance you could get a late model together again and come back up here in the near future?
It's not at the top of my bucket list right now, but I certainly would like to. I haven't really gotten much late model opportunities in the last 2 years or so. I've kind of, focused on the NASCAR side of things, but I think the number one priority for me would be try to get to the Snowball Derby again at some point. It's not going to happen this year, but I'm hoping next year I will be able to. But yeah, I think Slinger's on the short list of tracks that I would definitely go back to. I definitely felt like I never quite figured it out until the end of the race, and it made me want to go back because I kind of struggled all weekend, and then by the end of it, I finally started to figure it out. So as a driver, that makes you want to go back and try to get redemption, So hopefully I get to go back one day. It's not really on my top of my short list, but it's definitely on there somewhere. So yeah, I'd like to one day for sure.
There's a lot of skills that do make drivers great drivers. And what would you say is your superpower that you really bring to the table for all of the excellence you've been able to showcase?
That's a good question. For me, I think this year I did a really good job of just trying to be, mentally consistent and stable. Anytime we had, some sort of issue or setback in a race, I feel like I did a pretty good job of just remaining calm and collected and making sure that I could rebound from that. In my past, and as most drivers can probably agree, it's really easy to get flustered when something doesn't go your way because, racing is one of those unique sports where there's so many things that are out of your control. You look at football, baseball, hockey. Of course, you have some bad luck in there here and there, but I feel like, for the most part, you can kind of control most things that go on, whereas racing, there's just a lot of curveballs that come out of nowhere and can set you behind, and it's really easy to get flustered. So I think this year kind of had a conversation with myself at the beginning of the year and knew that if I was going to have success throughout the year and be consistent, I was going to have to deal with those, setbacks very well. I think I've lived up to that this year.
I guess you have. Corey, do you know very much about or what do you know about your Cup team? You're going to be in how many races this year?
I'm not too sure, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw something about a sponsor just getting announced. Do you know a sponsor yet?
No, I don't, man. I'm sorry. I don't know much about next year yet.
All right. Well, we're certainly going to keep a close eye on you. You've shown that you belong in the Cup Series for absolute sure. It's been great following your career so far. Being 23, you got a great upside to you, my friend. And we'd like to thank you for being on the program. And hopefully we can have you again sometime.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right. Corey Heim, this year's Craftsman Truck Series champion, will sneak away and come right back after these.
Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
All right, we have a couple other items here for you quickly. NASCAR is actually considering relaxing their ban on the single source provider, getting away from single source providers. They want to make it easier for some guys to make some parts. Doesn't that send mixed signals? I know it's a good thing. It'll bring more creativity back into NASCAR the way it's supposed to be. But boy, I don't know.
If they do it, they're just floating stuff. You know how they.
I highly doubt that'll happen.
Probably something to do with the lawsuit if you look at it close. I don't know. Hey, do you remember here in Phoenix when Sydney Sweeney came up and had something to do with the opening ceremony? She came to the driver's meeting and somebody introduced her to William Byron and said, "You guys ought to go out," which I think is freaking hilarious. For those who were wondering, and I'm sure there's someone, we had heard that Byron was going out with Blaney's sister, Erin Blaney. They had been together for a long time, and they had just broken up, but he does have another new one named Haley McGregor, and nobody ever said.
A year ago.
That was a year ago already?
Right before he won the Daytona 500 in 24, so he hasn't been...
Come on, really? That's how long they've been broken up? These stories I get on the internet sometimes aren't real timely. Either way, Haley McGregor is his main squeeze now. And so, Sydney Sweeney, Haley McGregor, I don't know. Let's figure that out. Here's a good one. The governor of Alabama has fired the entire Motorsports Hall of Fame Commission. What she apparently listed as financial issues. Oh, somebody's stealing from the Hall of Fame. Plus legal compliance and procedures. I don't know what that all means.
Where is that? Is it still at Talladega?
Talladega is where it was, yeah. Isn't that something else?
Talking about NASCAR, I thought we gotta do something where the guy that wins 12 races and has 21 top fives, leads every race, doesn't have a ride for the next year.
No kidding. That really stunned me. I thought for sure he'd be. I almost feel bad for him.
I'd like to say rest in peace to a Wisconsin sponsor. Mike Clancy passed away yesterday. Clancy's auto sales up in the Kaukauna area. He's been a sponsor for many, many years on many different drivers, and he passed away yesterday. And thought we'd just mention that. Thanks to everybody for tuning in, and don't forget, real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta, our in-house engineer, website coordinator, and king of the knobs is Matt Losey. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week after the Freedom Factory race.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.